Alright, Kumite Radio. We have Tariq Safadine. Did I say your name right?
Yes.
Alright,
Yes, you did. Tarek. When you say with the English accent, it's good. But when you say with the French accent, it has to be Tarek.
Tariq.
Tarek.
Tariq.
Tarek is more Arabic accent. French is Tarek.
Alright.
You're drinking kombucha.
Yes.
Talk about that. Why you drink kombucha? Some people don't believe in kombucha.
Some people don't. I don't know. Honestly, I like the US brand better, and I wanted to try this one. It's not too bad. I guess it's the Thai version. It's not too bad. It's okay. But the one in the US, I really like it. It's a little bit sweeter. And so I wanted to try that one. It's not too bad.
What brand in the US?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't remember the name. I think it's Synergy or something like that.
Didn't the UFC? Didn't UFC have a synergy or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's still around.
The head?
Yeah, no, they had a Synergy energy drink.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's the same thing. What is in kombucha, anyways? Because I see it everywhere.
That's a good question.
Some of our guys drink kombucha. I just know it as a healthy drink.
There's like probiotics, and it's like fermented tea, and it's supposed to be good for your digestion. Never hurt me, so that's why I keep drinking it. And it makes me feel healthy. I don't know. Maybe.
Is your digestion better?
I guess so. I don't know. Never had any issue, but.
Are you into like a lot of the probiotics and like natural foods? I guess.
Well, I wouldn't say natural food, like healthy and like pure organic stuff like that. But I try to, especially when I'm losing weight or I'm in camp. I don't know if it's a placebo effect or not, but I like to eat healthy. And it's been a while I haven't eaten a burger, for example, like fast food, McDonald's or something like that. It's been a long time I haven't eaten something like that. I'm more into sweet, like cake and stuff like that. Ice cream. That's my thing. Yeah.
A European thing.
Yeah. All the bakery stuff, man. It's just Every time I go back to Belgium, man, I'm on all the pastries and stuff. Just
What about
Like what
the
kind
beers?
and beer. I'm not into too much beers, to be honest. It's like Belgium is really famous for chocolate and beers.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
chocolate's good and
Yeah.
the beers are good.
And I don't like Belgium and beers and chocolate. You know, so, but yeah, it's
Like what kind of pastries is Belgium known for when you go back and go check out those things?
everything that's for breakfast, like those croissants, the baguette.
Oh, you gotta say it like he says it. We can't say it like croissant.
Croissant.
Yeah, we
croissant.
always say croissant.
But go Starbucks and get a croissant.
Croissant.
You gotta say croissant.
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 Very French.
Very French.
You know, American accents, we can't do that, right?
Yeah, we mess everything.
Yeah, we mess everything up. But so you've been in camp for how long now? Since you haven't eaten a burger or eaten cake or anything like that, so.
It would be a total of 8 weeks. End of next week after the fight, it would be a total of 9 weeks. Yeah. But I've been in Thailand for what now?
5 weeks.
Yeah.
May 5th.
There you go.
Friday.
Yeah, 5 weeks.
So you got yourself time.
Yeah.
So before you got here to Thailand, where were you?
I was in the US. I live in the US, and I was training down in San Diego at the arena with one of my good friends, Jesse Taylor, who is actually on the Ultimate Fighter right now. And I've been training with him and the team over there. And then I moved here to finish up the camp.
What's up with the TriStar?
Well, I was supposed to go to TriStar, but it didn't work out with my for personal reason, because I was in Belgium for last year for a certain amount of time. Then I moved my family back to the US, and so I couldn't move like for another 8 weeks away from my family. I didn't want to do that again. Last year was really tough for my family. I was almost away like 5 to 6 months. So for this camp, I decided to stay as long as I could, close to my kids, my wife, and then 5 to 6 weeks out, I would go to here at Tiger and Muay Thai in Phuket.
So what was the main reasons, other than being close to the place where you're going to fight? coming here?
Well, it's funny because my coach that I brought here, Balon Basha, he told me about coming to Thailand, and so because I met Nordin and I know Chris Van Dijk also, they train here, and they only had good stuff to say about the gym and the team. And so I was like, okay, let me reach out to them and see, if there is a possibility to come and train out here. I've been training in Thailand in 2007, 2008, but it was more Muay Thai. Never trained in MMA before in Thailand, and so I was like, yeah, let's see if I have good feedback, which I had more than good feedbacks, and so I reached out to Chris Van Dijk. He reached out to George to see if I could come out and train, and they welcomed me open arms. So I said, okay, let's do it, man. I can't wait to come and train out here, and it's been amazing.
So, you've been working on your wrestling.
Yeah, with the Hickman brothers,
The Hickman brothers, right?
Hickman brothers, yeah.
So what's different from, because you've been training with a lot of wrestlers before, so what's the difference coming out here, working with these brothers?
Well, I've been training wrestling since I got in the US the very first time, so in 2009. I never, in Belgium, I never did wrestling. Never wrestled in my life. Did a little bit of judo, a little bit of ground game, mostly stand up. Then when I moved to the US, first time, I didn't know anything about wrestling, so I had to learn on the get-go, and it was really tough at first because we had really strong Division 1 wrestler getting out of college, really good wrestler here, and so everything that I had to do was defense. I had to learn how to defend the takedowns, how to get up, and so that's everything that I did in the beginning to really get accustomed to the wrestling base. And so training with those guys, man, those guys are beasts. They helped me out so much. Frank as sparring partner and George as a trainer. It's been an amazing experience. Those guys are really high-level wrestler. I learned a lot, and just today, just beat my ass.
Yeah, you can say whatever.
So they pushed me really hard, and they got me ready for this fight. And I'm really confident in my wrestling coming into this fight next week against Rafael Dos Anjos. So I'm excited to show that as well.
Yeah, that's a huge fight.
That's a big fight.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Former champ.
Former champ, yeah.
So Frank, what do you think? Working with him.
I just try not to get my ass kicked every day. Wear my mouthpiece. The other day we were sparring, he had his gloves on. He gave me like a quick 1-2, and he took me down because I was so discombobulated. I couldn't get my shit back together. But it's fun. It's good to wrestle with somebody who's a high class athlete. You don't really get that opportunity a lot. So whenever you can show somebody something, the biggest part I get out of it is he's very appreciative of it, which goes a long way. A lot of people, it's just another thing to them, but obviously Safadine really appreciates it, so it's always helpful when somebody appreciates what you're bringing to the table for them. So I enjoy it, I really do.
So it's like building a pretty good relationship, by working together and getting ready for this fight, right?
Well, for me personally, is when I take the situation here that I come here at Tiger Muay Thai, and I'm welcome open arms. They don't know me. I can be a freaking dick and come to the gym and take advantage of it. They don't know anything about me, and they just open the gym free. They welcome me. They offer me accommodation. So the least I can do is being thankful, being grateful for everything that they bring to the table for me. And especially they have George here he has a lot of guys to take care of. A lot of guys that have been there for a long time, and he's paying a lot of attention to my camp, to my strategy, to the game plan. So they're putting a lot of time and energy on me, and so I'm really appreciative about that. I understand what it takes to be a coach because I've been around for a long time. I understand when a coach is dedicated to his athlete, and you don't get that a lot, and so I'm really thankful for that. And this guy, I never met those guys, and they come and they help me out. So it's awesome, man. It's true. It's not in a lot of sports. Whether it's wrestling or MMA or we beat each other up every day, and so he's putting his body in for me, putting his body through. I'm not being nice with him. He's not being nice with me, but I'm not being nice with him either. So I'm thankful for that.
What do you coaching him for the first time? When you get a new guy come into your camp, but you know that this guy is high level already.
Yeah, for
Like
me,
it's it must be kind of a new experience.
it is, man, because I'm still like, I've coached wrestling, a long time in my life and been around, and I've coached MMA and been the coach here now I've been here coaching for 3 years at Tiger, but really in the last year and a half I've been the head coach, and I'm still young, and I aspire to be like guys like Firas Zahabi and Greg Jackson and stuff like that. I'm still fighting currently, but I'm kind of taking a step back and not fighting as much, and I'm okay with that because I'm very passionate about coaching. But working with Tariq it's caught me off guard a couple of times. Not so much now, but in the beginning with just the way that he responds when I tell him something, and to be honest, I'm still, like I said, I'm very young, and I've coached a lot of guys like him, Marabek, Taisumov, and Nordine and stuff. Those are, and Nick Heim before, but those are the highest caliber guys that I've coached, and he's by far the highest caliber that I've been able to be a part of. And it makes me feel good when he, number one, that he believes in me, or believed in Tiger first, and then and not only for me to help him in the camp, but also to go corner him as well. It means a lot to me. But just the way that he responds when I tell him to do something, and how it's really a pleasure to coach, because man, being a coach is not easy when you deal with so many athletes, and then especially at Tiger, because it's so different. You have so many different guys coming in. Some guys are like your guys that represent the gym. Some guys are there just coming to train and get better. But for someone of his caliber to actually respond the way he does, and listen to the instructions that I give him to do it, whether it's myself or whether Frank shows him something, or whether it's me even helping him with stand up, saying stay on the outside and stuff like that. But to listen and respond the way that he does is pretty cool for me. Like I said, I'm here in Thailand for the long run, and I want to be a very good coach. And
You're on your way up there.
thank you. But being helping him is it is helping me out on my way, and it's just a pleasure. I even wish that some of the guys are not near the caliber or in the UFC, or some guys don't respond the same way that he does, and it's a pleasure to work with him. And if more guys were just okay, great coach, I'll do that, their careers will probably go better. Not saying that I have to answer to everything, because man, I'm still learning every day. But fighters are needy people. They really are. But I feel like guys that really trust in their coaches and the people they have around them go a lot further. And for him to trust in myself and Tiger Muay Thai and my brother and us as a team is pretty cool. Being that he's only been here 5 weeks, and I'm excited about next week, and I'm excited to see him do his thing and get the win. It's going to be a good time for sure, because he's very well prepared. And about wrestling, I said to Frank last week, it's kind of funny, if he wasn't in fight camp, you could come in and drill with him wrestling, and it would be drilling with another Division I wrestler or another high level wrestler. You could have a good practice, because he has such a good feel. Wrestling is so hard to learn, straight wrestling, and he has a good feel for it. When you watch him, the way that he moves and stuff like that, it's not like most guys because there's a lot of good guys that fight MMA that are good MMA wrestling, but there's not a lot of guys that can actually drill and wrestle, and they're jerky and their motions aren't the same. But he has very solid wrestling. So all those those hard grinds when he first came here to or went to America with the D1 wrestlers has paid off for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
The lip lag.
Blood play, yeah.
Hey, he's got like a lot of like straight wrestling techniques that are good. It's pretty, it's good.
It just comes natural to you from like, you know, I guess training with guys in the States and like
Yeah.
some of the techniques that you already know.
Yeah, well, you know, when I came to the States, I went to I trained right away at Team Quest, which was a Dan Henderson gym. They're really strong wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling, and I trained a long time with Jesse Taylor, which I just trained with before I came here, who's a really good wrestler as well. So those guys used to kick my ass every day in the gym. They would throw me like sandbag, you know, would be on my ass all day long, and so I had to learn. I had to learn the hard way how to get up, how to defend the takedown, and so I was doing that every day for at least a year, 2 years, 3 years before I could actually defend one takedown, because those guys, they used to do that since they were 5 years old. And I moved out there when I was 20, and I never did wrestling. So I had to adjust. I had to adapt to the wrestling mentality, wrestling technique, everything. And so I had to adapt if I wanted to improve. Wrestling is huge in MMA. If you don't know wrestling, you can get out in 1 or 2 fights against just stand-up fighter, but you have to learn wrestling one way or another. And so, especially at Team Quest back in the day, I had to really learn that. And so, yeah, it kind of came naturally, but at the same time, I had to adjust. I had to adapt.
What was the reason for your initial move to Team Quest? Like, who was the person that kind of took you there, or did you just say, "Hey, I'm going to Team Quest"?
No, it
Go
didn't.
wrestle.
No, yeah. I wish it was like that, but it didn't happen that way. I was in Belgium, and it was 2007, and I had a couple MMA fights under my belt. I had 3 fights in Belgium, and I fought in France as well. And so what happened is I said, okay, back in the day, MMA wasn't big, especially in Belgium. And so I said, look, if I want to make it a career, if I want to take a chance, a leap of faith, I would say, or take a chance as an MMA fighter and make it professional, I have to get out. I have to move out of Belgium, because there is nothing. Or I keep doing that and as a hobby and get a job on the side. So I was like, okay. I was really hesitant because I'm studying and working and it wasn't an easy decision. But I said, okay, let's do it. So what happened is I sent out a bunch of email to a lot of different gym in the US. I was unknown on the MMA circuit. Nobody knew me. Nobody knew who I was. I had 2 or 3 wins and 1 loss, something like that. And so I was unknown. And so I told them, listen, I want to come, but I want to train with the pro team. That was my only request. I don't care if I have to sleep on the floor or whatever, but I really want to come and train with you guys. And I emailed at least 20 gyms, and I got 19 negative response from.
Really?
Yeah, and the only team that respond positively was Team Quest. It was his Sims, who is now in Singapore, who said, okay, yeah, we don't know you, but you're more than welcome to come and train with us. And so I remember I looked at that email and I said, are you fucking kidding me? Is that true? And so I reread the email and etc. And I typed on Google, making sure that was the right team, that it wasn't another Team Quest, and and so that's how it started out. And so I got the email. They said, okay, you're more than welcome to come. The day after, I booked my ticket.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the day after I booked my ticket, for the month after, I don't remember exactly how it went out. I was working at that time, so I couldn't just quit my job, but I flew out there, and that's how it started. 2007.
Take us to like when you stepped in on the mat and you got Dan Henderson.
Yeah, was
Yeah.
your son in there?
Dan Henderson.
No, just Dan. I remember the very first time I met Dan. Man. So I arrived in the U.S. With Heath. Heath welcomed me at the airport.
Awesome guy.
Yeah, man, he's the best. So he brought me to Temecula, the city, and it's a really small town, really nice. And so he brought me to the house, the fighter house. A bunch of fighters. It was Jesselman Miller at that time, Rio Shonen, Sokuju. Who else was there? A bunch of other guys. Vinny Magalhaes.
Yeah, sounds like a squad.
Yeah.
Killers in there.
A lot of guys. A lot of guys. King Mo was there at that time too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of guys.
Wrestled him?
You wrestled him?
No, did you ever wrestle him?
Yeah, but
He wrestled at Oklahoma State.
yeah, he was a high level wrestler,
Yeah, he
right?
used to go to.
He went to national team, something like that. No, wasn't he?
He was on the U.S. national team.
Yeah.
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 He won a bunch of titles. I saw him get smashed by Daniel Cormier one year in the senior national.
Oh, okay.
They was
Yeah,
in the same class.
He was just starting out his MMA career at that time.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I came out there. I just saw all those fighters that I used to, watch on YouTube, and
Oh man, I bet that was amazing.
that was awesome, man. So I actually went to the fighter house first before I went to the gym. So I remember I seeing Terry Sokuju. He would at that time he was beating Ricardo Arona and
Pride.
Yeah, Pride. It was just making a huge impact on his career. And I saw him. He was speaking French. He speaks French, so we got along really well. We still do today. And so it was Rio Shonen, man, nicest guy. Obviously, he is a guy who heel hooked Anderson, and so it was awesome. So I was like a little kid, and big fan.
Now, when you sparred them, like when you would spar against them, would you? Obviously, you said the wrestling you didn't know about, but would you beat them in sparring and stuff?
Well, I used to spar with those guys, and in the stand-up, I would do well, but as soon as
There was takedowns.
it was takedowns. It was another story at the time. And so I remember the first time I met Dan is, Dan is the coolest dude. He's really cool. He's down to earth. He's a nice guy. Not in the gym, he likes to go, but he's always, the nicest guy. And so I remember I walked in the gym, and there were cameras. I think it was training for Rampage, or I don't remember exactly who he was training for, but and he's told me, hey, go and do some light sparring with Dan. And so I remember I was so nervous because I put on the glove, and there were cameras everywhere. And so I came in, and he said, okay, just go light, and we go light. And so I would go light, and one time I remember I hit a body shot. I would feel like hitting a rock. Like it was so dense, so I would always remember that moment. And he's the nicest guy, man. Dan is an awesome dude, and everybody made me feel really welcome. It wasn't like any, who is that guy from Europe, blah blah. He's nobody. Everybody will help me out. Everybody would welcome me and help me out with technique, and so I felt really good to come in and train with those guys. I will always be thankful to them.
Was Matt Little there too?
Who?
Matt Little.
But no, he's at Portland, other Team Quest up north in Oregon. Yeah, so I never had the chance to train with him. I trained with Charles Sonnen one time, but it was 2012, 2013. He came to Team Quest not too long ago.
So while you were at Team Quest, you went there. You had a record of, like you said, like 2-1.
Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but a couple of
You
fights. Yeah.
stayed there the whole time while you were fighting in the Strikeforce.
Yeah, what happened is, so I went to in 2007 the very first time. I stayed there for a few weeks. Then I went back home. I had a fight, and So as soon as I went back home in Belgium, I said, okay, that's where I need to be. I need to come back ASAP. But I didn't have the money, so what I did is I had a fight, and I started working. I work in a cinema making popcorn. I remember, and so I was working, saving money, and so I wanted to go back. It was the end of the year. I wanted to go back beginning of 2008, but I broke my hand in the fight. You can still see it. And so I had to postpone my flight 3 months later. And so I went back in 2008 for 3 months because the tourist visa. And I was saving, which was kind of good because I saved more money, so I could stay a little bit longer. And so I went back. I had a fight in Canada. I trained for 3 months. I had a fight in Canada. Then I went back to Belgium, work again, save some money, and then I went back again for 3 months in the US, and I said, listen, I want to stay here full time, I want to be here, can you help me out? And they said, yes, we can work something out with you, get a visa, so as an athlete, as a professional athlete, MMA fighter. So they helped me out, get a lawyer and get me a visa, and in 2009 I got my visa, and I started there. I didn't start immediately with the Strike Force. I went through a couple of small shows in California, but my manager at that time was pushing to get me Dream, which was the post Pride promotion. And I got a call to be a replacement for the Dream tournament on 2-3 weeks notice. I took it. I won the fight. They called me again on really short notice against a Korean, Dong Yoon Sik.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Old school.
yeah, judo guy. Yeah. And they called me because he was supposed to fight Paulo Filho. And Paulo Filho, I don't know what happened. And so they called me, okay, listen, we need a guy on 24-hour notice. I was in the US, fly me out to Japan. And they flew me out there, and I won the fight. I mean, I lost the fight, but I won the fight. Damn it, because in Japan, the Dream rules, you have to. It's not about round by round. It's not a set of rules, but if you score it round by round, I lost the second round, but I won first and third. Anyway, so and then. Dream had a partnership with Strike Force, and so I got transferred to Strike Force. That's how I started.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, they had like an agreement, like cross promotion type of
But
stuff.
that worked out great for you.
Yeah.
It did, yeah. And it's funny because I started out with Dream, then transferred to Strike Force, and then Strike Force got bought.
Yeah.
UFC bought Strike Force, and I got transferred to UFC.
Let's talk about your rise to the title in Strike Force.
Yeah.
Because Strike Force was huge back then.
Yeah, that's
at
where
that moment.
the first time I remember sitting in Atlanta on my couch with my roommate, who I worked with in the car business, has no idea about MMA. He used to tell me Daniel Cormier was going to lose because he was fat. Has no idea.
If
But
you had the
anyways,
guy, you know exactly why.
yes. But he messaged me, in fact, the other day, and he was like, hey, I remember the guy you took a photo with. I remember we watched him like sitting on the couch watching Strike Force back in the day for the title.
Nice.
That's pretty crazy.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Because you fought a lot for Strike Force.
For Strike Force, yeah.
You fought a lot. You had a lot of fights, right?
Yeah.
Then you were the final champion, right? You were the
last fight.
champion, right?
Last champion.
The last fight, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about that title fight because you faced Marquardt,
Yes.
right? And Marquardt just
One.
destroyed
Yeah.
Woodley, like crazy.
Nasty.
Yeah, nasty elbows, like Mortal Kombat style, right? Right. So you come in, you're the next challenger.
Yep.
So people are looking at you like.
Nobody give me a chance.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
Nobody.
saying. Because a lot of the people were like, "Hey, this guy, he's worthy of the challenge, but can you do it?"
Yeah.
And you did it. So let's talk about, explain like the fight.
It's funny because I was always the underdog in Strike Force because I would always, my first fight I remember against James Terry, I was fighting in his own town in San Jose, and I would always fight guys in their own town. You know. Yeah, no, it's true. You know, look, I'm from the outside. I'm from Belgium,
Yeah, that's true.
and every time I would fight Americans in their own town. You know, every time, and so when I was kind of used to it, you know, and so when I fought Nate Marquardt, for me, I was so used to being the underdog that, you know, it didn't bother me. I had nothing to lose, everything to gain, and I trained really hard for that fight. I prepared myself really, really, really hard. I wanted to win that belt so bad. Not only to prove everybody wrong, but for me, the biggest challenge was to become the first Belgium to become a world champion in a huge MMA promotion such as Strikeforce. And so that was my challenge, my own challenge for me, because if I win the title, nobody can take that away from me as far as being the first Belgian to do it, you know. So that was my goal, and you know, it's funny because fighting Nate Marquardt, I used to watch him before I moved to Team Quest. I used to watch him fighting in Pancrase in Japan, and I was a fan of him. I'm still am, you know. But you know, watching him and then facing him is two things totally different. And also, you know, like you said, he beat really decisively Tyron Woodley, and nobody gave me a chance. And you know, that motivated me as well. You know.
You had the perfect game plan. When I watched that fight,
Yeah.
to beat him, I thought you had the perfect game plan. What you did against him was so, like, it wasn't expected, I think, but it was perfect to beat Marquardt the way you did. So who came up with that? Did you just kind of like went in there on the fly and just did that stop the game plan, or was it planned?
Yeah, well, let me remember. It was definitely part of the game plan, but what happened is that in the first round, I remember clearly feeling really, really comfortable, and those kicks were starting to pay off, and I felt really comfortable the more the fight went on, and my coach was telling me, just keep doing what you do, it's working, you know. And obviously in sparring before the fight in training camp, you know, I would throw kicks, I would throw my hands, my stand-up, and he was a better wrestler than me, even though he couldn't take me down, but I knew he was going to be a better wrestler than me, so I had to be better on the feet, and so I worked really hard on that, and I felt really good in the first round. I remember that vividly, that I felt really good, and I felt confident in what I could do, even for 5 rounds, and so, you know, it paid off.
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah.
I thought I saw a video recently. They showed you when they called your name when you won the title and you fell to your knees. And I still remember it. I think this was like last week. They showed that somewhere. What was that feeling? Like when you fell to your knees, do you remember that? Like when they called your name?
Yeah, I remember.
What
Yeah.
was that feeling like?
Man, it's hard to describe. You know, you have to feel it when you win a fight. It's already like such a moment of relief. Of you feel I don't know. You feel so much. You have so much feeling going through your body. You have that hand raise and all the hard work paying off. You know, you have you feel like flying. You know, and for me, especially that. You know, it was a title. I don't know. I felt like I did it. You know, I was like, man. I not only I became world champion. I beat Nate Marquardt. I became the champion, the last Strikeforce champion, first Belgium to become world champion, and it was like, man, it was the best feeling in the world. So I don't know. I just felt amazing.
Well, you're in
Yeah.
the history books. you know, like you said,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
in the history books. Like, there's not many guys that can say that they're in the history books. You know, in MMA, especially as the first Belgian champion. So, if you go back to Belgium, how is MMA in Belgium? Because you don't really hear about MMA in Belgium at all, even to this day. It's
They just signed a girl. Her name is Cindy Dandois. She just signed. She's from Belgium, and she's the first girl coming out of Belgium fighting in the UFC. So it's growing, but we are a small country, 10 million people, and it's there is not, unfortunately, there are not a lot of interest in the. It's not part of the culture. You know, martial arts, combat sport is not part of the culture. It's not like in the US or even in Asia or Brazil. You know, Brazil is the second sport after soccer. It's crazy. But Belgium, you know, I'll tell you this story. It's when I was walking in San Diego one day with my family, and there was this security guard who was talking to me because she would hear us speak French, and I said, we were talking, and she said, "Oh, where you from? Blah, blah, what you do? Why you are here in the US?" And my wife said, "Oh, he's an MMA fighter." And she's like, "Wow, that's awesome!" You know, she's like all impressed and say, "Oh, thank you," etc. And "Oh yeah, that's awesome what you guys do," etc. And unfortunately, in Belgium, you don't have that. You know what I mean? It's if you have people that see you as doing MMA fights, that see you as they don't know the sport, so they're gonna judge you. They're gonna say, "Oh, you're thug, or you're bad boy, you do underground fighting, stuff like that," because they don't know. And I'm not like gonna blame them because they're not educated about the sport. Nobody educates them about the sport because it's not mainstream. It's not like soccer or basketball or tennis, and so you know it's gonna take time, and it's all about education. You know.
Do you think you would be the one?
Well, I hope my journey with will kind of bring the sport to another understanding to people. You know that we're not what they think we are. But yeah, I hope it will help a little bit. You know, I hope.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because right next door is the Netherlands. Am I correct?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right above, right north. And there, it's booming. You know, the fighters that come out of there, and of course they have the kickboxing.
Yeah,
that's
it's
going on.
huge in kickboxing. Yeah,
But MMA seems like it's like, pushing forward too really well.
Is kickboxing big in Belgium?
Yeah, kickboxing in Belgium is it's pretty big. Yeah, they have really good kickboxers over there. Belgium, France, and Holland is really high level kickboxing, Muay Thai. Yes.
Yeah, France. I know France for sure. Has
Yeah.
high level Muay Thai fighters, but Holland's next up or near Belgium, right?
Yeah, you have Holland, Belgium, and France.
Okay.
Yeah, Netherlands, it seems like
You know
UFC's going over there all the time, right? To
Yeah.
Holland or whatever.
Yeah.
And you got Musasi and guys like that, just pumping up Europe. Like you said, remember, you were there.
Even Ramdami,
Yeah.
Ramdami is a champion.
What do you think about her? Now let's get into the UFC talk, right? What do you
Okay.
think about her saying that she's going to not fight Cyborg?
Oh, I didn't know that.
And she's going to go back down to 135.
It was 145. She's the
She's
145.
the 145 champ. And she said she's not going to fight Cyborg, and she's going to go back to 135.
Why? Did she give any reasons why?
No, because she said that was her original plan.
Oh.
But why would you go up and win the title?
Yeah, you have to
Original
defend the
plan.
title. You have to
Yeah.
defend the title.
So basically, she didn't think she was
Gonna
going to
run
win.
Valentina.
Oh, yeah. That's going to
Valentina.
So I know, the Valentina thing going on, right?
No.
What do you didn't hear about that? You're here. You're just kind of like you're not really.
Oh man,
listening
I'm just.
to no.
Television. Oh, good.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, yeah. That's good.
Well,
There's a lot of stuff going on right now. That is.
I saw that they didn't like each other at the press conference with who is she fighting again?
Nunes.
Nunes, yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of pushed.
She like
Gave
kind
her,
of
like,
gave her a little jab to the
fist
face.
and then like pushed her with
At
it.
the face
Yeah.
off?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Because Nunez, this is my theory, is Nunez, she realized like, hey, if I kind of become the bad lesbian girl or something, that people are gonna, watch.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna watch it. If I'm just like just like
Nice.
I'm just a regular favorite, nice person, respectful, people might not watch. I think that's why she's kind of doing that because she sees that it's still, it's the McGregor effect.
Yeah, I think that now that's what people. That's what it is.
Man, that's crazy, yeah.
And I think if you're not like that, you shouldn't
shouldn't
start
do that.
doing that, right? And I think
Yeah, just be
Nunez,
who
she's
you
not
are.
like that,
Yeah.
but she's just doing it just because, she thinks it's gonna get more pay-per-views or whatever. And that's what I respect about you. You never kind of you've always been the same. You've always
try
been
to.
very respectful and open-minded and stuff. Because like you said, you came here and you were open-minded with working with these guys and stuff like that, right? So a lot of guys, when you get to that level, they kind of have their little group, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of stay with that little group and they don't go outside that group. So, for you, you've kind of expanded a lot.
Yeah, well, I think you kind of have to. Obviously, you have to have the people that you trust around you at certain level, especially when you make money. I'm thinking about obviously Conor McGregor when he's making so much money that he must have like crazy a lot of people banging on his door and I can do this for you, I can do that for you. But when you stick with the people that from the beginning, that's also really important. But at the same time, sometimes you have to open your mind to a lot of other people. And at one point for me in my career, I was so stubborn to just stay with the same type of people that I wouldn't want to expand, wouldn't want to learn. And I think that's when you kind of plateau,
So,
especially in MMA.
so when you left Team Quest, you went straight to
TriStar.
TriStar, right?
Yes.
And what was the reason for that move?
That was
Other than what you said, you were trying to expand. And stuff.
Yeah, it was I spent 7 years, almost 8 years at Team Quest training there, fully there. I rarely go other places. If I go to other places, I would go just for wrestling or just for Muay Thai. I would never go to another other MMA gym. I went 1 or 2 times, but that's it. I was really loyal to the team, and so after my loss against Rory, I had a lot of injuries, and I had to kind of rethink and how do you say that? Like a redo of myself.
Reevaluate.
Yeah, reevaluate what went wrong, what the thing that I was doing right and wrong, etc. I said maybe it was time for me to just try new stuff, open my mind to other things, and I was always a fan of Firas Zahabi. I was looking, I always look at his videos and the way he teaches, the way he explains, and so I said, okay, let's go there and just try it out, and I really liked it, and that's how I kind of went up there and started training over there.
And they speak French, so it's kind of
Yeah.
helpful, right?
Yeah, it was helpful,
You're in
yeah.
Montreal, and everybody's French. Even the whole city is like most people.
Quebec, yeah, Montreal, yeah, the Quebec part.
So it's kind of like did it become like a second home to you
Well,
because of the language?
everybody's really nice over there, and it's it was a really great environment. Everybody's nice over there, so I felt really welcome over there. Yeah, definitely. I hated the winter.
Yeah.
In winter it was so cold. I used to live in California for so long, and you have minus. Yeah, man, it was a crazy winter, but it was.
So did you move your whole family from California? Oh, so you had them stay, and then you were just going up there?
Yeah, it was a crazy situation for me and my family, but what happened, we moved back to Belgium, and I was training in Montreal, but we decided to move back to US. It was better for us, me and my family, my wife, my kids. It was just better situation for me and them. So that's now I'm fully in the U.S. and I'm the one that moves, not my family. I don't want them to move around and stuff like that. I don't want that anymore.
It must be another, like, a level of, I guess, emotionally, you know, like, as a fighter, that you have to deal with, like, having a family, you know, and then you're moving around and kind of being away from them and trying to kind of keep that, you know, that situation kind of calm.
Yeah.
While you're preparing for another, you know, for a fight, right?
Yeah.
So it must be difficult, you know.
It's tough from the kids, especially. I love my kid, you know, and I hate to be away from them, and especially they're at that age that, you know, they're growing, they want to see their dad, and it's, you know, it's. But I have an amazing wife that supports me, supports my career, and she explains to them, you know, why I'm away, why, you know, what I'm doing, and so it's it kind of relieves some pressure on me. But I talk to them every day, you know, and it's definitely tough, but it's part of the job, man. It's sacrifice, you know. I've been sacrificing a lot for the past, you know, since I left Belgium. You know, I've been away from my brother, my family, and, you know, it's at this level you have to do those sacrifices. You know, it's a choice. It's a choice of life. It's a choice of to get to where I want to be, and you know, it is what it is. But I can't wait to fight and then fly back home.
All right.
You know.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
This is your second time fighting in Singapore,
Yes.
right? Your first time fighting in Singapore, that was a pretty memorable fight,
Thank
especially
you.
for the Asian fans,
Thank you.
because your opponent changed last minute, correct? It was
4 weeks. 4 weeks out.
Oh, it was 4 weeks, right? So, I guess 4 weeks is still last
Yeah.
minute, right? And how is it fighting a guy that he's beat up, but he just keeps like he was like a zombie, right? He just kept coming, because that leg was dead basically.
Yeah.
And he just kept coming forward and forward, and it was a 5-rounder,
Yeah.
right?
This guy
How was that?
tough.
Like, yeah, how was
This
that?
guy was tough. Yeah, man, it was. This guy came to fight and want to win. You know, I was beating his leg up for 5 rounds, and that dude just rocked me at the end of the 5th, and you know, it was a tough fight. I felt good the entire fight. You know, it was a war because he didn't want to give up. I thought at one point I had it, but didn't. He just kept coming, strong and on one leg. So, you know, all the credit to him, man. He's a tough dude, and so, you know, those Asians,
Yeah.
they're really tough, man.
Those Koreans, they have hard heads.
Yeah.
You know, they have thick skulls, so you know they're known for that.
Oh,
So,
okay,
you know, it's hard to knock them out. Now you're fighting pretty. I think the best opponent, right, that you can face at this moment of your career, which
Yeah.
is him, and he's coming up to welterweight 170, right? Which he says that it should have been his weight class from the beginning because he said the cut was just too much.
Okay.
And what do you think about him? What do you think about this fight? What do you think this fight? If you go in there, you do what you need to do. Where does this fight put you?
But I don't look past him. I never did, and I never will look past my opponent. I'm just fully focused on him. That's what I've been training for. You know, not only for this camp, but I've been training since my last fight. I've been training really hard on my mistakes, on everything that I need to work on. So I'm not looking past him. Obviously, win against him it's huge. But I'm not looking past him. And as far as Rafael, he's a former champion. He's tough. Even though he comes from a jiu-jitsu background, he's really good Muay Thai, good stand-up. He's coming off 2 losses like me, and I think he's hungry for the win. And him, as far as going up in weight, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good choice or not. for him. I think a lot of we've seen George Masvidal and Donald Cerrone going up in weight and doing pretty good. But those guys are way taller. They are different in reach and height. He's a little shorter, so we'll see if he can compensate because it's different. It's different. It's a huge difference in weight, in reach, and so we'll see if he's ready for that.
Well, thank you for your time. I know you don't have much time,
No,
left
we
until
can
you
keep
go.
going. No worries. You got beers. Everything.
You got your.
Yeah, I'm done.
You're done with your kombucha. To be honest, I want to hear stories about that house.
Oh,
I want to hear a story about that house. Because you said Mayhem Miller.
yeah.
Because Mayhem Miller was just here recently, and
Bangkok.
Bangkok,
Yeah, he was on. So there was a guy. I don't know if you saw him. His name's John. He was there today at the beginning of sparring. Just kind of big, tall guy. Anyway, he's a promoter. He's from Boston. It's a promotion called Full Metal Dojo.
Yeah, he was the guy the other day that was like interviewed.
Yeah, he's the guy that interviewed.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's from Boston and he's lived in Thailand for like 10 years. And he had, for his show, he's had like quite a few now. And the last one was in Bangkok. And we always have guys fight on his show, like a lot of the Thais fight on it and stuff. And he had Mayhem Miller come and be the commentator for his last show.
Nice.
And yeah, so
How did that go?
you did a good job.
he did a good job. Yeah, it was, but like Mayhem's like personality is perfect for John's show because John's show is like 80s, 90s style like music, like real like he's like real in your face and like it's the MMA show, but it's also the John Nutt show as well. Like,
Oh,
Is that the guy that was on Bully Beatdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And you stayed with him for a while?
Honestly, I don't remember if he was staying at the house, at the fighter house. I don't have memory. I'm sure because him and the Rio Shannon were really close. They were always hanging out together. But I don't know if he was staying at the house full time or if he had his own place. I can't recall that.
yeah, super nice guy, but he's like a loud wire. Like he's a lunatic. That is for sure. But in a good way. Like,
Yeah.
you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
That's true.
that promotion is in a nightclub.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So when you go there,
Yeah, the fighters warm up outside in the Bangkok heat, like on a mat on the side of the building. It's like quite an experience.
Wow.
if you ever get a chance to
I
go
need to go
watch
there.
that,
I need to go watch
it is you just stand at the cage if you're watching basically.
And then you dance right after.
You dance
go
while
there?
it's going on.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, you can dance.
They
while
put the
it's going
music
on.
at the
There's a DJ and everything.
DJ, live band, everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Mayhem Miller was the commentator over there.
So he was the announcer or just the commentator?
Just commentator.
Okay.
John Nutt's the announcer.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
the announcer, and then they have a guy from England that speaks fluent Thai, and he announces in Thai.
Nice.
So yeah,
It's a
it's
pretty
quite.
crazy show.
They get fighters like from Cambodia
Oh, yeah.
and like Malaysia and Thailand, all around, and Americans.
How many shows they had so far?
Shit, more than 10.
Yeah,
That's good.
maybe. I think the next one is 14.
Yeah.
Maybe.
MMA is getting big here in Thailand. That's good.
Yeah, I've been here 3 years, and in I would say the last 2 years, it's getting really popular. Man, we got, I think you were here, the really small Thai girl that was here like 3 weeks ago.
Today she was at the gym.
No, not that one, a different one. She's quite pretty. Her and her boyfriend both fight for one of
Yeah. I see.
Man, her,
Oh,
she
Rika?
had her, Rika, she had her first MMA fight.
She's
A
Thai?
couple months ago, yeah. She's half Thai, half Japanese.
Okay.
She's like a celebrity now. Her
Sure.
Instagram and her Facebook went from like 1,000 people to like well over 20,000 people.
Nice.
She's quite famous. She's like
Awesome.
a Reebok ambassador and like.
Really?
Yeah, she's
Nice.
got it going on.
Yeah, and the show's called Full Metal Dojo. So they have a cool name, and they're kind of in there when it's the best time to start. And they had a bunch of shows. They actually have a show
July 1st.
July 1st, and Mayhem is coming back.
It's coming back.
It's coming back, and the guy from that
The
show,
comedian.
Silicon Valley. Yeah, the
He's
comedian.
coming to commentate too.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he's bringing all the Millers. 'Cause that guy's name is Miller.
It's Miller too.
So it's like the Miller show.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's pretty
Yeah, I
crazy.
see about that.
But
Yeah, like the house.
The house. Yeah.
You know, what can you remember from there?
Honestly, I stayed there just a few weeks and it. Oh.
A few weeks and you had to get out of there.
It wasn't like that. But I just stayed a couple of weeks, a few weeks, and oh man, as far as stories, nothing really out of the ordinary.
Everybody was at that time. Well, actually,
Everybody was training.
Sokuju was already becoming huge.
Yeah, it was actually. I remember he was training for his first fight in the UFC against Machida.
Oh.
Yeah. He was getting ready for that fight, yeah, it was. We would go train and we'd come back home and just cook dinner and just sleep and then go back to the gym. So it wasn't nothing too crazy, honestly. My English wasn't super good, so I was trying to make myself try to understand.
Was it the old school style where they would just go full blast in sparring and?
Oh yeah, we would go all out. We would put like guys at 155 pounds against 205 and just go all out. It was a good time. It was a good training. Krzysztof Sozinski also was there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Krzysztof Sozinski. There was a lot of guys. I don't know if you know who Peter Graham is. K1 Peter Graham.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from Australia. I used to train there too. There was a lot of guys in there. Powell Natsula. The judo guy who used to fight in Pride. Heavyweight.
Yeah, I don't know that.
He's a really high level judo.
Sounds like a lot of old school guys.
Yeah, the guys from Pride, yeah. And I believe that at that time, I don't know if Dan was still fighting in Pride or he was already fighting in the UFC, or he was at the end of, when he fought Wanderlei Silva for the last time. It was around that time, so.
You could wear wrestling shoes back in the day in Pride, right?
Yeah.
I believe so.
You could wear a gi too.
Yeah,
At that time, you could wear a gi. Remember Melvin Manhood fought Sexyama?
Yeah.
Sexyama had the gi on and armbarred him after he got his ass whooped really bad for a while. But who was the guy you trained with? Because you've been around the game for a long time. Who's the guy that you trained with that never became you thought this guy, you seen him and you're like, this guy's gonna be one of the best guys in the world, but they never kind of put it together. Do you remember anybody like that?
I think, I have a friend who's still training today. His name is Isaias Alvarado. He's a really high, really good fighter, and he still fights. But I don't think he had. I wouldn't say that he cannot make it, but it still didn't have the opportunity that put him, where he needs to be. But this guy really has the talent to do it, and I hope he does, man. I hope he does. I really like him. He's a great fighter, really good dude, and also I like to talk about Jesse Taylor. I used to train with him for a long time, and now he's back in the Ultimate Fighter, and I'm happy for him. I'm really happy that he's back on the show and he's doing good. So I'm happy for him.
I think he probably has one of the best chances to win the show. From what I've seen from all the fights, even though there's a lot of younger guys and good guys, he still has that base that makes him strong.
Just a wrestler, straight wrestler.
Just get him on the ground and just face it.
I think Palomar in California. I think it is. I think that's Southern California, somewhere. Not pretty sure. Just straight wrestler.
And he was supposed to win the show the last word. He was in the finals and he got kicked off, right?
Yeah, he did some crazy shit.
He did some crazy shit. Get Dana White pissed off a little bit, so yeah.
Sounds like a wrestler.
If you look back at it, you went for Quest with Dan Henderson, to me, I think he's Mount Rushmore. If you look at what he's done, he's crazy. There's no doubt he's Mount Rushmore of MMA.
Like I
crazy,
don't know
man.
what everybody else thinks, but that's just my opinion. And then you go to GSP. Do
Yeah.
you train a lot with him?
Yeah, I train a lot with him, and it's a George is all around. He's always at the gym, always training, working on his craft. He's a great training partner as well. I learned a lot from him. So it was great experience as well. Yeah. This guy is a really good wrestler. Really, really good wrestling. Really strong and really athletic, obviously, as everybody knows. So yeah, it was a great experience. And training with Dan. The crazy thing about Dan, you want a funny story. You see all those scars that I have here.
Yeah,
Never-
I was actually just noticing on your eye.
Yeah, I have at least like seven or eight scars here, and it's all at least like, let's say I have 10, at least 7 are from Dan, from training. This guy, he
You
was,
been hit with the H-bomb before?
oh yeah, many times. And it's funny because I can say it here because I always always make a joke about it, but every time I would, he would, open me or something, he said, "Oh, that's your fault. It's because your head is coming towards my punch. It's not my punch coming to your head." And so, yeah, no, training with Dan is, it's awesome. Like I said, he's the coolest dude. When he's like a big bear. When he's walking, when he's talking, he's just relaxed and he's really nice and down to earth. When we train hard. Trained with him many years, and when he does his barbecue, and he's just the coolest dude. It's been awesome training with him. Really, and I'm pissed that he didn't win that fight against Bisping.
That
He deserved
That
it.
would have been like, yeah. I
That would
agree.
have been
That would have been like,
Every-
just, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Out of here. Like, I've gone out on top.
cherry on the cake.
Everybody was screaming at the TV when he caught him. I
Yeah.
bet you everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just,
That fight was
was crazy. Well, man, thank you for your time, man. That was great. That was good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good stories.
Thanks
and,
for having me.
Long history. You got.
Thank you.
So good luck
Thank
for
you.
your fight, and hopefully you'll be back here.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank-
Man, it's been, like I said, it's been awesome training at Tiger. Like I said, they really welcome me with open arms, and I'm really thankful for George, his brother Frank, Pitu, everybody at Tiger welcoming me, and also allowing me to bring one of my outside coach. Because it's not a lot of people would agree to. They have like 20, 30 Muay Thai coach, and they say, "Oh, you can bring your own coach." So I'm really thankful for that. And I'm gonna fight next week, June 17 against Rafael dos Anjos. I believe it's on UFC Fight Pass. I hope.
Yeah.
It's UFC Fight Pass. Yeah. So watch the fight, guys. It's gonna be a great one.